Hi guys, I hope we don't have any technical issues. This is my fatigue ray, and I'm bringing you round 3 of the 3 epic matches between BS and Toy Destroyers. So let's go ahead and look at the third match that you all have been waiting for. You'll see a similar team composition from both sides, and however, they did switch out a player in Namikaze for short. Played in round 3 for Toy Destroyer. So let's go ahead and look at this replay. Once again, we're seeing my Fatigue Ray on Mystic, Zarius on Paladin, and Commander 1007 with Jambra. Namikaze for short, using their Arbor Knight, Harry Z007 with the Necromantic, and Mediatrix with the Death Seer. This is the last and final match of the semifinals between BS and Toy Destroyers. As we all know, it's been an incredible story. Toy Destroyers comes in off of many victories and faces BS and stomps them into the ground in the first game. BS came back in the second game with Mystic and was able to close down on the victory, as you guys saw, and this is the third and final round. Let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for an excellent match that maybe you won't see another one like this in quite a while. We won't give away the ending here, but I can assure you it's something worth watching. You may observe some of the guild chat going on. However, it's best just to be ignored. Let's take a look at what our teams are doing. Toy Destroyers is invading Bottom Farm. They are looking at a similar strategy to what we saw over the last game, perhaps. Those three staying together in the lane, trying to get their carry to close down on the creep in the CS. Be aggressive on the lane, look for ganks, try and get ahead in kills and snowball, and perhaps wipe out BS, securing themselves to the finals. Let's see what happens here, guys. Let's look at the starting items. BS already purchased their items and are at their respective locations. Toy Destroyers does not look like they have anything registered yet. Cyclops is stealing BS bottom jungle. A little bit of activity going on in the top right. Commander working on the creep. Is running from their Mystic. And just ports out. My Fatigue Ray in the lane with Namikaze for short. Their Cyclops still level 1. Heading back over to his bottom farm. Commander 1007, Jambra takes the bottom farms. While Zarius is looking at where he can take the jungle in the top. Both teams are very focused right now. No risky moves.
No target. Certainly.
My Fatigue are very cautious. Our Jambra is able to steal their bottom farm. Some confrontation. Cyclops decides to chase a little bit. They do like to control the center jungle. Commander's gonna go ahead and fight for it. Punches the Cyclops and tags him. Punches him some more. My Fatigue Ray Puts up a wall behind him. Very little instigation. Both teams are really looking for their farm. It does seem like maybe they have a gank on the Mystic. Mystic is still in the top. Zarya sees him there through the shroud and rushes in. My Fatigue Ray tries to put up a wall, but the Mystic is too fast. He tries to blink towards the Mystic, but fail blinks into the wall, and that Mystic does get away. BS not too happy about that. Instead of returning back home, though, Mystic does come back towards the lane. Their team right now is farming a decent amount of experience. It's 4 minutes in. Teams are relatively the same level. Their Paladin has 23 CS, while my Fatigue Ray only has about half of that. You can see a lead, perhaps, coming from Toy Destroyers as they catch Commander in their top jungle and close down on the first blood kill of third round. It looks like BS may have a long match ahead of them if they wish to stay in the tournament. Who got first blood? That was Namikaze for short. Their carry already has 23 CS in the lane, 23 CS in the lane, and a kill 4 minutes into the game. Rough start for BS. Paladin looking to be on the aggressive.
Your help is fading.
My Fatigue Ray is running. One more rush could take him out. They decide not to tower dive. Mystic goes for it, puts up a wall, takes 2 tower hits and is out of there. My Fatigue reports back to base. While Zarya commands the lane for now. And Commander is constantly getting his experience in the top. Wherever we can find it where they aren't. Both Paladins take middle. While Cyclops comes over to the bottom farm, Jomber comes down top right after Paladin uses a rush and does stun the Paladin. Zarius rushes through the Paladin and slows him. They're trying. Jomber tags the Paladin. Cannot finish off the stun. He does stun the Cyclops though. They chase the Paladin. Zarius rushes forward. Slows the Paladin. They heal. Jomber tags him again. And again cannot finish off the stun. Namikaze for short ports out. And BS calls it a day and heads home. Still 1-0. Toy Destroyers in the lead. And then for some reason I'm walking out of the base and there's a creep right there. I'm like, oh, and I last hit it. And I'm like, oh, that must be a good sign. We'll see what happens. Who knows why that creep was there? Who was watching the replay? Was anybody watching? My Fatigue Ray paying some attention to the CS.
Certainly.
Desperately trying to keep up with their carry. Once again, we find Toy Destroyers dominating the middle lane, sealing our bottom jungle constantly, while BS members are constantly circling the map looking for whatever creep farms they can find on the side. Cyclops heads over towards Paladin to check it, maybe looking for BS, sees the Mystic shows up in the lane, goes back up towards the top, maybe looking at closing down on the creep, or for a gank. Looks like they're deciding what to do. They decided to take their bottom jungle. Some hassling going on. Zarius does close down on the creep and rushes the Cyclops. Mighty Tigre slows him, throws a crystal barrier. Namikaze for short rushes in on Mighty Tigre, but Zarius closes down on the Cyclops.
Your help is fading.
Mystic ults in on Mighty Tigre, but Mighty Tigre evades again. And both teams dissipate. Zarius maybe looks for a chase, decides against it. BS First Blood has been taken. My Fatigue shows up in the lane. Doesn't want to have anything to do with that Paladin. Or a gank that can come out of the field. Commander slowly circling the bottom. All BS members have picked up a little bit of farm.
No target.
Likewise for Toy Destroyers. Middle lane opens up again with the advancement of the soldiers. Both guilds looking for another's weakness. Trying to gain an advantage in their levels. Trying to gain an advantage in the gold that they're getting. Currently the CS compared to Toy Destroyers is very close. BS falls a little bit behind. Their lane does get pushed out. My Fatigue heads back to the lane. Their members are constantly checking their top jungle now. Zarius is on top of BS's top farms. Their Paladin swings bottom, checking out the dragon, making sure that we're not there warding it or taking it. Commander sees the Paladin. My Fatigue comes for support. Sees the lane, goes for the gold. Toy Destroyers prefers to just keep this middle battle going on for the gold. A little bit of hassling coming up from the Mystic. Both teams are looking at their ultimates now. Cyclops is getting close to his. He's currently the only player left on the field without his ultimate. "11 minutes into the game, 12 minutes into the game, ladies and gentlemen, the score still remains at 1-1. No significant team advantage at the moment. 13 minutes into the game, there is very little confrontation between the guilds. However, with almost 90,000 damage dealt from my fatigue ray this game, there is plenty of kills to come, and deaths from both guilds. Both teams are picking up their basic items for what they're entering into mid-game with, so let's go ahead and take a look before a gank happens or something exciting. Look at everybody's items. Harry Z is stacking a nice build for mid-game with a little bit of mana and HP, and centered around some magic attack and armor piercing. We also have my fatigue ray with his unusual build of the Rod of Assistance, along with the Arrogance Cloak and Boots of the Firewalkers with the Regeneration Crystal. Zarius does have some attack speed and damage. Commander is lowering their defense, going for a little bit of a mixture, maybe a balance between attack and defense. Still a lot of activity happening in the middle of the lane. Mediatrix has Helm of the Cloudwalkers with the Cloak of Resistance, along with a healing potion and some movement speed. Namikaze, for short, has a Khan Cutlass already from as much CS in the lane. It's paid off for him. He will be scoring criticals for the rest of the game. BS makes their way over towards Dragon. Expecting any second for Toy Destroyers to show up. Toy Destroyers does show up. Paladin rushes straight in for my fatigue ray, who runs, blinks out, avoids the Mystic's ultimate, turns around, puts up his own wall, tries to ult in and damage the Mystic. He's running for his life from the Mystic. Zarius is taken out by Namikaze for short and the Cyclops, and Harry Z closes down on the kill on my fatigue ray. Significant advantage at this moment. Commander is running, there's nothing that he can do, or to stop them from taking the dragon. BS decides not to use a respawn token and come back for the dragon. Toy Destroyers finishes up the dragon, while BS members are still respawning. Score is now 4-1. Toy Destroyers in the lead, and with the current dragon, they are definitely in the lead, especially with the extra team gold buff that comes from killing the dragon. My fatigue ray cannot make up his mind between going in the lane and hassling the Cyclops. Decides to chain and barrier the Cyclops. It does not pay off. He gets stunned by the Cyclops. Tries to evade Paladin, cannot get away, and dies twice within 1 minute, I believe. Further widening the gap, putting Toy Destroyers in the lead. Score is currently 5-1, Toy Destroyers. Namikaze, for short, is looking rather tanky. With 2,000 HP, and already hitting for over 240. "17 minutes into the game. Toy Destroyers 5, BS 1. Namikaze, for short, with 70 last hits. My fatigue rate keeping up in CS now with 68. Both carriers are on top of the lane. Commander does find Mystic up in the jungle. My fatigue ray decides to run over to Commander and leave the lane. They decide to observe the Mystic. And decide to go for the Mystic. My Fatigue circles around for the gank. Puts up his ulti. Uses his ulti. Puts up barriers in between him and the Mystic. Chains the Mystic to the barriers. With a well-timed Jumper stun, my Fatigue easily takes out Harry Z007. Making it second BS blood. Hard earned. Zarius is keeping up in level. The game does look fairly even though the kills are not level. Somehow both of these teams keep their heads in the game. And keep their guild in the game until the very end. BS ditches the lane, goes for experience. My Fatigue observing top, looking for possibly an invade from their guild. Sees them show up in the lane, decides to bail. He's not going to get into a fight with him without the rest of his teammates. Toy Destroyer decides to go top. Maybe looking at an invade, maybe looking at a gank. Maybe they're scouting on mobiles. Do they really think that they can take it from BS? Do they really think that they can get away with mobiles? Are they just trying to stop BS from taking it? They have scouted around. BS sees them missing, decides to go up and check it out. So decides to start taking mobiles. Not knowing that they were right there. They put Crystal Barrier on Mystic. They ult the Mystic. Mystic tries to blink away, then ults away. Avoids them, puts up Crystal Barrier and chains. Zarius rushes in, takes out the Mystic. Is closely behind the Paladin. Paladin heals and rushes out. Their Cyclops stuns Jombra. Epic comes in and smashes both Jombra and Cyclops. Jombra took a hit from the Epic, but is still alive from his regen. Zarius was able to take out Namikaze for short. My Fatigue is hanging back with no HP. Mystic has respawned. Both barriers go up. Both Guardians go down. Zarius is working on the Mystic. Namikaze for short has already respawned. They decided to call it a day and let Harry Z get away. And both my Fatigue and Zarius port back to base. Just in time. BS is still in the game. BS is still in the game. Cyclops catches my Fatigue with his ultimate. My Fatigue is left to nothing but to go in the middle of the whole team, taking too much damage. They easily take out my Fatigue. Zarius goes to scout them at the dragon. Considers maybe what he will do. Decides to rush in and go for it. Uses his ultimate. He's still on top of the Mystic. Commander ults in, stuns them just in time. Zarius watches as they take the dragon, but he decides to still go for it. They take out the Paladin with the dragon buff. Cyclops has no choice but to run. Zarius rushes in. Cyclops stuns. Jombra slows. No tag coming from Jombra. They decide to tower dive. They see that they're both dead. Cyclops can't hide at the tower. Another BS blood, and for the first time, BS pulls ahead and kills. Necromantics decided to respawn early for Toy Destroyers, while both BS members hit the farms, and My Fatigue takes the lane, and the bottom jungle that they like so much. Their Mystic takes the lane, pops his crystal chains, gets his CS, and is out of there. Almost 25 minutes into the game, BS is just now finally showing that maybe they can have this game. BS Paladin is ahead on level 13, but looking at a still very tough Namikaze for short, with defense and harvest and attack. Teams mobilized near Mogulsh. BS picks up the Cyclops in the bottom. Jomber sees the Mystic in the top, goes up to stun the Mystic. My Fatigue puts up barriers. Gets stunned by the Cyclops, is running, trying to avoid the Paladin rush, puts up a wall over the Cyclops. Puts up another wall over the Cyclops. Zarius rushes through the wall, goes straight for Namikaze for short. My Fatigue is still walling in their Guardian. Closes him out with his ultimate. Commander comes in, punches their Paladin in the face. Zarius rushes through the Mystic. BS has officially closed out Toy Destroyers from the Mogulsh at 25 minutes. All Toy Destroyers are back. My Fatigue and Zarius are hurrying as quick as they can to take Mogulsh. It's going rather quickly. BS closes down on Mogulsh. Do they go for the fight or do they go back home? BS decides to smart port out. Spend their gold. Head back to the lane. Look for a fight. Currently, BS is in the lead with 11 kills. Toy Destroyer 7. Neither team has pushed the other team's tower. For 3's dynamics, it does help not to push the other team's tower too quickly, otherwise they will receive quite a bit of farm early on and can gain an advantage that it can be hard to put down a revolution that you put on somebody by taking out their tower too early. It subjects their team to plenty of extra gold and creep and experience, and if they have other teammates properly jungling while one person can take the lane, they can get super fed and come back and win. Both teams have not taken out the initial turret. However, Toy Destroyers does have half of his turret's damage gone, while BS is only sitting with 338 HP gone. My Fatigue hassling the Cyclops. Puts up his crystal barriers. The lane is in the middle. Both teams are looking at each other. Maybe for a gank. Toy Destroyers is hiding out by the tower. Commander sees them. Commander wants the gank. Zarius is wrapping around. They see it coming. They're behind the tower. They're in between their base and their tower. Commander comes up from the bottom. They see Commander coming straight up. Commander does stun Paladin. Crystal Chains and Wall hurts him before he pops his ultimate. Zarius rushes on the ultimate Paladin, cannot hurt him. The Cyclops ulties Fatigue, who blinks out. Then ulties back in on a stunned Cyclops and a dead Mystic. BS further concealing or further cementing their lead against Toy Destroyers in the final round. BS 14, Toy Destroyers 7. Toy Destroyers has used respawn tokens. BS has used none. Commander's at the dragon. Zarius is heading down, level 15 Paladin. Commander is attacking at that thing that nobody sees there, but is actually there. My fatigue ray is strong enough to clear out creep waves finally with 1 crystal chains. Seeing a tough tournament so far. Switching from Sia Tide Singer to Mystic at the last second in a group guild decision, which proved beneficial against Toy Destroyers, especially in this last round. Either team can always make a comeback in these games. Toy Destroyers are coming out to the middle lane. All 3 of them. Commander wraps around bottom. He's looking at some sort of gank. Paladin pops his ultimate and rushes away. Cyclops is out of position. Crystal Chain slows Cyclops. Zarius auto attacks Cyclops. Takes him out. 30 minutes into the game, BS is about to take out first initial tower from Toy Destroyers. Cyclops has used a respawn token, it seems. Toy Destroyers is bent on defending. Do remember that the Shroud is not as what you've seen it throughout the game. Many of these heroes have to use last second decisions. It can happen in a blink of an eye. Zarius rushes in and takes out the Cyclops. Switches to Namikaze for short. My Fatigue Ray takes out the Paladin. They stun the Mystic. My Fatigue Ray, Crystal Barrier up on the Mystic. Gets a double kill. Puts a wall up in between his Jomber and their Paladin and is out of there. Focusing on the tower, my Fatigue Ray goes to auto attack the tower. Mystic comes back to the lane. Ready to defend. Uses his ultimate. Tries to keep my Fatigue Ray in. My Fatigue Ray puts barriers up. Catches the chains from their Mystic. Is trying to evade. He's running for his life. Uses crystal chains on their Mystic. Namikaze for short is there to finish up the deal. Rushes in on my Fatigue Ray and they finish him up quickly. My Fatigue Ray cannot evade. A well-earned Toy Destroyer kill. "30 minutes in, Toy Destroyers has lost their first tower. Are they going to be able to defend? Are they going to be able to keep BS out of their base? Right now, Commander is the only visible unit. They decide to go for the creep. Commander decides to pop the Paladin's ultimate. Paladin looks about not wasting it. My Fatigue Ray puts up barriers. Misses the ultimate on the Paladin. 2 crystal barriers are up, keeping the team from laying siege on Toy Destroyer's base. BS decides to split it up. Some go top, some go bottom. Commander's working on the top tower. They stun Commander. They attack Commander. Zarius is getting hassled by the Mystic. My Fatigue Ray goes up to hassle the top lane. Neither team looks afraid of confrontation. Commander does stun Cyclops. Crystal Chains and Barrier goes up. Paladin rushes at Zarius. Zarius rushes away. My Fatigue Ray closes down on Namikaze for short, while Harry Z chases Commander into the jungle. BS is hot on his trail. Commander decides maybe to turn around. Turns around, sees him out in the corner. My Fatigue Ray blinks in, Crystal Chains and Barrier, ends Harry Z. They start to pour it out, but then suddenly change their minds and BS goes to finish the base. They're going for the kill. 32 minutes in, 21-8. BS has the lead. They're looking to close this. The other team has used respawn tokens. They're looking to take out the towers, to stop the push, to stop the feed. Bottom tower goes to BS. Top tower falls to BS.
Tower destroyed.
With all energy focusing, it looks like this could be it. BS is going to win this game and pull out ahead out in the 2 out of 3 wins, taking them into the finals. And they do. BS victory. Toy Destroyer's second loss. BS advances in the finals. Zarius with 11 kills and 1 death. 7 assists. If you wish to view the builds, please do take the time to pause and look over them and think about maybe why the heroes or the users decided to select those items at a certain time. Please do enjoy these replays, and we are here for entertainment purposes only. Thank you guys so much for your continued support and subscriptions. We will make sure to keep bringing you epic content and amazing official tournament videos as well as GVGs. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful Christmas.